Rounds 11 and 12 of the TCR International Series at the Salzburgring, and pole sitter Kevin Gleeson made a superb start to the first of the day's races. The same couldn't be said of Gianni Morbidelli, who started alongside his teammate, but who'd dropped to third place going into turn one, behind the hard-charging Stefano Comini, who'd come through from third on the grid. The first casualty of the race was Igor Skuz in the third of the Hondas, who ran wide at the Ostschleife and then spun across the track. Morbidelli battled for second place with Comini for much of the race, but on lap 9 the Italian left half a gap going through the chicane, and Pepe Oriola seized his chance. It might not have been the cleanest of passing moves, but Oriola was through. Zolt Szabo ended up in the gravel when he suffered a front puncture, but the Zengo Motorsport driver was able to limp back to the pits with the remains of his tyre flapping forlornly. On the penultimate lap, Andrea Bellicchi timed his move on Oriola to perfection and eased past into third place. Two target competition Seats might have finished on the podium, but the race belonged to Kevin Gleeson, who took a lights to flag victory, becoming the 8th driver to win a round of the TCR International Series. And so to race 2. Another West Coast Racing Honda Civic started from pole, but this time it was Igor Skuz at the wheel. His lead was short-lived though, as Michel Nukia, starting from second on the grid, out-dragged the Honda down to turn 1, as did Andrea Bellicchi. To add insult to injury, Skuz was then forced to take to the escape road at the chicane, thanks to an ill-judged move by Mikhail Grachev. Soon afterwards, Skuz made contact with the Seat of Bas Schouten in a collision that would bring a 5-place grid penalty for the Ukrainian driver's next race. Replaying the start, it looked as though Comini had jumped the lights, and the stewards duly announced they were investigating the incident. A 4-way battle for 6th place saw Morbidelli coming out ahead of Grachev, Sergei Afanasiev and Gleeson, while Comini was given a drive-through penalty after the stewards ruled that he had indeed jumped the start. The dramas weren't over though. On lap 8, Lorenzo Vaglia lunged up the inside of Jordi Genet going down towards turn 1 and then had to cut the chicane. Rejoining, he was hit by Genet, with Morbidelli seizing the opportunity to pass them both. The other remaining Honda of Kevin Gleeson was fighting with Mikhail Grachev, and the American driver finally managed to pass going up the hill through turns 7 and 8. A patch of oil at the other end of the Salzburgring then caught out Andrea Bellicchi, who slid out of second place but was able to recover to eventually finish 5th. The battle for second place then became a straight fight between Morbidelli and Oriola, but any hopes the Italian driver had of revenge for the race 1 incident were in vain. Morbidelli finished 3rd with Oriola 2nd, but it was Michel Nukia who took the win, his 2nd of the season, to round off a great weekend for the target competition team.
I had a little bit of trouble here in the qualifying session, but here when I have Bellicchi behind me, I said, no, my teammate will not overtake me, so I push everything I can. And sorry for him, there was oil on the track, but it's the same for me. Maybe I saw it before him. So yeah, that's the rules here in the racing.